Call to order the Town of St. John Plan Commission study session for November 6th, 2024. Would invite all that are able to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The roll call, please.
Joe Gomez-Tagle is absent. Pete Clyderis is absent. John Gill.
Here.
Russ Vogel.
Here.
Justin Ester.
Present.
Colin Emshway.
Present.
Ashley Abernathy present. Adam Decker.
Present.
John Dykstra.
Here.
Bill Manasopoulos.
Here.
Thank you. We have quorum. Item 4, old and new business, 2024-20 Schuster's Village, the proposed preliminary plat for a two-lot subdivision with following waiver request. Every surface being constructed of face brick, the requirement to have the refuse enclosure made of the same material as the primary structure, allow reduction in the required right-of-way dedication to not install curb and gutter and to not install sidewalks, and site plan located at 10603 and 10641 Tyland Street, Zone C1. Mr. Ross.
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of Seven Ventures Holding this evening and Region Contractors. We're here to display what we'd like to be our final site plan for Schuster's Daycare. Let's just call it that. I know it's currently Little Rascals. We had some great dialogue with the owners to arrive at the site plan you see here. Incorporates a half-circle, double-width driveway, which will facilitate pickup and drop-off operations, allowing queues to happen as far away from the intersection of Thielen and Hart Street, which was some of the feedback we received when we were here for the rezone. The parking area to the right you see will be primarily to the employees. There's some provisions for some future expansion, but we don't have any dates on there. Engineer Dykstra has performed a first review of both the plat and the engineering we submitted to accompany this plan. I think his comments were pretty straightforward. Pending feedback received by the commission tonight, we'll be turning that right back around to him. Our stormwater will be routed to the south of the property, and the utilities are fairly straightforward in Thielen Street. The building will be about 7,700 square feet. There will be 8 rooms intending to serve infants all the way up to a 4s room. There will also be a kitchen and small laundry facility in the center of the building. Given the topography of the site, the building will have a basement, which will walk out in the back, but that basement will not be for child care. It will be primarily for storage and just how logically to fit a building onto a very sloping piece of property. Ashley, can we go to the renderings?
That's what I'm looking for right now.
And this will touch on one of the waivers we are requesting. One of the core inputs the Schusters gave us and Region Contractors that they wanted this daycare center to look and feel like a home daycare, not a commercial daycare center. We feel that the building we intend to construct reflects that. You can see it has 3 distinct projections. It's going to have a full covered porch across the front of it. Sidewalks on the side, and then because of the changing grade, it will have a supported walkway around the back due to the egress requirements for a building of this type. So I'm happy to entertain any questions the commission have, but I will run through the waivers and give a brief explanation as far as why we are requesting them. The omission of face brick gets back to that look and feel. I think Region, in conjunction with the Schusters, have presented a building that looks like a home. There's also not a lot of homes in this area that have large expanses of brick, and this building, compared to the present day facilities, will look leaps and bounds better. We're also asking for a waiver to have the refuse enclosure not consistent with the primary building. One of the next most important waiver we are requesting is the code requires, these parcels today, it's an unsubdivided lot, so we are doing that. Part of the property currently has ownership to the center of the road. Part of the property owns actually all the way across to the homes on the north side. The code requires a dedication for a local street of 60 feet of right-of-way. We are requesting a waiver to reduce that to 50 feet for a couple reasons. One being Thielen Street and Hart Street are very, very rural cross-sections. There's no storm sewer infrastructure, very, very minimal sidewalk infrastructure in this part of town. Quite frankly, given the surrounding industrial zone lots, I can't really foresee this becoming a crazy traffic area nor a high pedestrian area. The topography of this section of St. John is not very ADA friendly. It's not very walkable. And the topography of the site such that while it might be a 3-acre plot of land, there's going to be some very, very arduous grading work to make this happen, and it's advantageous to have the buildings sited, quite frankly, as close to Thielen Street as we can. So that is the reason we are requesting that. In conjunction that, we're asking for a waiver to omit the installation of curb and gutter on Thielen Street and Hart Street. That gets back to what I was touching on before. This area of the town just it's not set up like a modern residential subdivision, and quite frankly, to do it for just a few hundred feet, I believe would look a little out of place. I believe I've touched on all the waivers, so I guess I'll open and available to answer any questions commissioners have.
I've got a couple questions. So you state you're requesting a waiver to omit face brick on all sides, and your renderings show board and batten siding. What material would that siding be made out of? What you're proposing, like a fiber cement, a vinyl?
Good evening. Nick Georgiou, Region Contractors. We're also the design builder. That would be either a smart side or it's not a plain wood siding. It'd be a pre-finished vertical siding with the board and batten on it, but a long-term pre-finished material.
Okay. And if the trash enclosure is not going to be the same material as the building, what would it then be?
Well, it's a toss-up between whether it's a PVC fence or it actually could be a wood fence enclosure, which would be compatible with the building also.
Okay. And I guess if we're not doing a curb and gutter, do you have a detail showing how that grass would interface with the street? Or the site would interface with the street?
It would be hard. I mean, essentially, the transition between the turf and Thielen Street will essentially not change from what it is today.
Okay. Thank you.
And if it'll have a gentle slope down, the site incorporates handling half the road's drainage and stormwater runoff.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just to follow Mr. Imshway's comment, the subdivision control ordinance has provisions for payment in lieu of installation of curbs and gutters or in lieu of construction of sidewalks. So if at the time the Plan Commission is going to consider those waivers, that's written into our subdivision control ordinance to allow for that payment, which is a percentage of the costs that would otherwise be required by the ordinance.
Okay. I guess that was one of my questions. I mean, I get that it's not a very walkable part of town, but with no sidewalks, nobody can ever walk their kids and drop them off at the daycare, right? I mean, that's not safely.
I can't argue with your assessment, other than mentioning that there aren't a terrible amount of homes in this section of St. John within walking distance for, say, somebody 4 years old or younger.
Anyone else? Questions, comments?
I just have one thought. Hart Street, I 100% agree with looking at a waiver for that because it slopes quite heavily and then you go into a floodplain wetland area down here. However, on the other side of Thielen Street, on the other side of the railroad tracks, there already are sidewalks that go all the way to Joliet, and eventually the town wants to provide interconnectivity. My one thoughts are with the grading on Thielen is that the sidewalks at least be installed along Thielen, and that can occur when they do the buildings. That's just my thoughts.
I think that seems reasonable.
I think is it a, if I can just inquire for my own information, is the payment in lieu of a choice the developer has to make, or is it a,
It is not.
okay,
It is not a choice the developer gets to make. It's, the provisions of the code provide that the Plan Commission make determination whether it would be appropriate to require or to allow the developer to do that, so I'll pull that up. So, yeah, this is Town Code Section 21A45. In extraordinary circumstances, the Plan Commission may determine that the installation of sidewalks or curbs and gutters is impossible or illogical within the proposed subdivision or amendment and/or replat of subdivision. If the Plan Commission makes this determination as an alternative to providing sidewalks or curbs and gutters, a subdivider may make payment to the Town of St. John Sidewalk, Curb and Gutter Installation Fund in an amount equal to 90% of the total cost of the installation of those items. So that's included in the subdivision control ordinance, and that's completely up to the Plan Commission to determine.
That would be a condition if we did grant the waiver, not a condition, but that would be required if we did grant the waiver, that payment would have to be in lieu of?
Yes, so essentially, that's why it was created. I mean, I think the Plan Commission has the ability to waive any provisions of the subdivision control ordinance. But this was prepared so that in those circumstances, when the Plan Commission makes that determination, that it would be illogical or impossible to construct those items, that the developer or the owner be required to make payment in lieu of the installation of those items. And it would be contributed to a fund that's been set up to allow for construction of sidewalks and curbs and gutters throughout the town. So,
if I could add one thing to that, I would concur with what Ashley mentioned just now, in that I can't make a case for the Thielen Street side of the property, but I do believe the grading along Hart Street, just the natural profile of that road, would fall into the category of what Attorney Decker just described. I think it may very well be hard to make a sidewalk that ran along Hart Street ADA compliant.
I don't know that I disagree with that, because I come through there all the
Yeah.
time, and that would be a sidewalk to nowhere. It would be kind of pointless to be.
The
on
storage
that
units
thing.
got the waiver based on the
Yeah.
floodplain and wetland.
So that doesn't bother me,
Yeah.
but
Constructed.
along the front of the property, I think I would like to see them there, so.
I agree.
And then you said there's still some unresolved work with the town engineer.
I don't want to speak for you, John.
Oh. I didn't know if you were talking to James or not, but yeah, there's some comments, but nothing is severe. I think they can respond to them and meet them. That's my recollection.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I think it was in the packet. It's at the end of the packet if you need to look at it.
Yeah, and I can say we have worked through about 80% of those comments. We will be proceeding with the remainder of them immediately after this meeting. One of the reasons we have not turned it around, because the waiver discussion we're having right now, your reception of the waivers, which we're receiving loud and clear, would potentially have changed some of the documents we'd resubmit. But I think
Yeah,
now we
I
have
did
confidence
include
to go.
at least 3 of the waivers that were more engineering related, the curbs, the sidewalks. So I wanted them in there so everyone was aware that those are for consideration by Plan Commission.
Okay. Anyone else up here have questions, comments about any of the other waivers that were being sought? The refuse container, the face material? No? Okay,
Thank you very much.
see you back soon. Item B, 2024-26, the preserved, proposed final plat for the preserve Phase 8 and 39 lots and 3 outlots, sorry. Mr. Slager?
Good evening, Jack Slager with Schilling Development, representing the preserve. We will be requesting final plat for Phase 8, and this is 39 lots. This is actually the final phase of the original preserve. There's been 8 phases over the last 8 years. These are all 100-foot wide lots, and the large outlot that you see at the bottom, kind of in the shape of a cross, is the park. So that is the preserve park. There's already playground equipment there, and so we're platting that piece along with this phase. All of the infrastructure is complete at this point. The roads are in. They're doing some final like street lights and street signs and things like that this week. But other than that, everything's done out there through binder course. They did not put the surface on due to the weather. So, and I think DVG's working on the as-bills. Hope to have those to you in the next couple days.
Okay.
These are all 100-foot wide lots. I don't know if I mentioned that, but all wooded. It's a really nice section. If you get a chance, take a drive through there. It turned out really nice.
Okay.
Any questions?
Turned out nice, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Been down it twice.
We'll be back in 2 weeks with the Mylars requesting final plat approval. Thank you.
Sounds good. Item C, 2024-27, Family Express, US 41 St. John, proposed primary plat for a 1-lot subdivision and site plan for a new proposed Family Express located at the southwest corner of US 41 and 109th Avenue. Family Express Corporation. Mr. Huss.
Good evening. Tonight I'm here with Jim Weezer representing Family Express Corporation. Pete Andreo, Vice President of Development for Family Express, is here tonight as well. Tonight we're here to inform the Plan Commission of a project that will be before you at future meetings. As I'm sure some of you are aware, Family Express has been working with the town on their acquisition of 3 properties at the southwest corner of 109th and US 41. These parcels have been recently annexed into the town as part of Family Express's negotiations with the seller for the Family Express's second store within the town of St. John. So what you see here is an illustration of the site plan. But Ashley, if I wouldn't mind you moving to the building renderings of the front. That's fine there. So this store is, I think Pete would agree, is a point of particular pride for Family Express. This is an illustration of their new prototype building. Pete and Halstead Architecture can take credit here a lot more than I can. The site is one of 6 across the northern half of the state that Family Express has been working towards developing. This is going to be their new brand standard building. Personally, I've always found Family Express to be some of the nicest gas stations and convenience stores among all the brands, but I think their new prototype is, quite frankly, a step above. This will be a full. We'll have all their brands full offerings. They'll be offering gasoline, a fully equipped convenience store with food, pizza, and some of the many other amenities they offer. They will have a car wash in the west section of their lot, which will be incredibly congruent with the convenience store. And they are attempting and are planning here to incorporate a pet wash at all locations. And even the dumpster enclosure will very, very closely match the structure, or the structures, I should say. Actually, can you jump back to the site plan, please?
Mm-hmm.
One more, thank you. This site, to be frank, is quite unusual, even difficult. If you can believe it, there is 17 feet of fall from Huron Street, which is the western boundary, all the way to US 41. careful consideration was given to a number of input points from the town during the annexation process. We have previously coordinated with the Indiana Department of Transportation as far as the access point onto US 41 at the southern edge of the property. That driveway permit is in process. We've also ensured that our driveway onto 109th Avenue is positioned beyond the channelized turn lanes as 109th Avenue approaches US 41. We have more of a secondary overflow access out onto Huron Street. And as recent discussions with the town have taken place, Family Express will be incorporating a left turn lane into Huron Street onto 109th, which you can see in this illustration here, which will result in Family Express doing a not insignificant amount of widening to 109th to make that happen. Our truck circulation will be exclusively from southbound 41 for fueling the tanks, and that is the reason why you see the very large driveway on to 109th that will be striped or some other way delineated so that cars do not use the full expanse in pavement, but for a tanker to get out. That is the reason for the size it is. We do fully expect, as part of the NDOT permit process, that the state requires something to be done to the existing median. I'm still haven't heard what that is, but that was some of the discussions that happened before. So I don't want the commissioners to think that vehicles will be trying to turn left to go northbound on 41 so close to the intersection. I think that will be made impossible by some mechanism. I believe that's all the high points I have. Myself, Mr. Weiser, or Mr. Andreu, I would be happy to answer any questions you have.
Will there be any improvements to Huron Street too, or no?
There will be some incidental widening to accommodate that widened pavement. You can kind of see the hatched area there is where the work area will more than likely stop. But as far as the driveway goes, we were pretty much mating up to the existing pavement. That Huron Street is an unimproved kind of rural cross-section that we were discussing during the last presentation I made, as is 109th, where Huron touches it as well.
All right. Questions, comments? The slope's gonna be tough. You build it up, or-
I know it doesn't look like it, but we started on a site plan and it was a bear trying to get, we think we've got it, but there will still be a retaining wall. The transition drive will be steep, but it's just the challenges of the specific piece of property.
Gotcha. All right.
At a 10-foot retaining wall, right?
I believe it's not that quite tall,
Not quite that
but
tall.
Mr. President, per the SCO, the Plan Commission has to approve the inclusion of a retaining wall. Just a heads
For
up.
future reference.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be in my letter,
Good.
passing the buck to you.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Item D, 2024-28, The Grove, proposed rezone to PUD for proposed mixed-use development, single-family detached and single-family attached homes, 8408 West 101st Avenue, St. John, Indiana. Oltoff.
Evening, Commission. Ed Rectenwall with Old 12 Homes. I have a couple of handouts, if it's okay if I...
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Is the same one?
Mr. President, if I can.
Sure.
I'm going to ask that this is deferred. These plans are not following what the council is looking for, conversations that I had with the developer through the past week. And hopefully we can get something done by the next meeting.
Okay. We're going to defer on this one, subject to further conversations about it, and we'll see you back.
Perfect, thanks.
Item E, 2024-30, the Gate to St. John, proposed final plat for the Gate to St. John, Unit 24A for 15 lots, and Unit 27 for 59 lots and 3 outlots. Mr. Kill.
Yes, hello, everybody. I know Ashley told me I didn't need them, but I do have paper prints because I just can't get away from doing it. I'm sorry, I have to print things out. If anybody would like a set, I do have those. Might be easier to look at. No?
I'll take one.
Oh, John, I knew you'd want one. Yeah. Nobody wants one.
No, that's okay. No.
We're all gonna take one after you guilted us into it,
I was
Steve.
gonna say, yeah, you guys got it. Take
Right.
it now. Come on.
Trendsetter now.
Poor trees, like,
I said no to the big one, 24 by 36.
All right.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, this size is pretty good. It's carried around, actually.
Yeah. Former architect habits die hard. Thank you, sir.
Since this is a final plat, everything's kind of been laid out. I did actually have a meeting with Ashley and Billy to run over some things. Ashley found address corrections, things like that that need to be made, so those have been made on the plat, and I'm sure she's gonna go through it again. But like I said, other than that, it's a final plat on Monday. If, I don't know, John, I don't know if you or somebody from Public Works want to be available, I'm going to meet Adam McAlpine out on site. We're going to walk both of these units so he can determine what yet has to be done to establish letters of credit and things like that. So,
We're off on Monday.
okay, I guess it'll just be myself and Adam then walking the subdivision. So, since everybody's off on Monday, that's right, it's Veterans Day, isn't it?
I'll be there.
No, that's okay. If you guys got the day off, don't worry about it, but. So, yeah, unless anybody has any questions, this is just the secondary plat, final plat, so all the improvements, or I should say most of them are in. There's still some straggling items, streetlights and signage, stuff like that, but we will go ahead and post the required surety for that, whatever isn't installed.
okay. To be continued, right?
I will see you all in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, that's all for old and new business. Item 5, adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Gill, second by Mr. Vogel, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.